Now, quite a few couples have shown up in the years since 90 Day Fiance first began, and some have been matches made in heaven, while others have not been so great. We could probably argue about many 90 Day Fiance couples and former couples as the cringiest to appear on the show. So we picked the top 10 that were the most awkward, toxic, or completely unbalanced that make watching the show both highly entertaining yet cringy all at the same time. Let's take a look. Number 10. Now, Paul and Kareem may have finally called it quits for the last time. They have played the makeup to breakup dance before, but this time police arrived and a CPS case is opened up. And all this came out as Paul and Kareem appeared on a season of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After. We barely even got into the story before the drama broke out. And we have learned that the pair didn't even make it to the tell-all taping. And it was reported months ago that Kareem Martins is pregnant with their second child, something Paul teased in many comments on social media over the past few months. Paul initially sparked concern in 90 Day Fiance viewers when they learned that he was a felon. He was arrested years ago on arson charges after lighting his own house on fire. Now, everything about Paul has been critiqued over the years, from how he runs to how he handles or can't handle a challenging situation. Everything up is for interpretation. And while Paul definitely has his quirks and demons, Kareem, she isn't a saint either. She's been accused on many occasions of cheating on Paul, so much to the point where he actually questioned their children's paternity. Right now, Paul and Kareem are silent after their very contentious split. Now, the pair filed restraining orders against each other, and Kareem has gone silent on social media. Paul, however, fled the US for Brazil, claiming he was going there to get their apartment ready for Kareem. And some believe Paul is waiting in Brazil for Kareem rather than leaving her alone as she asked. And others think he may have found another woman while there. Either way, these two will be much better off leaving each other alone. Number 9. Danielle Mullins and Muhammad Bali are one of the 90 Day Fiance OGs who really helped catapult the TLC series when it comes to ratings. That's because their relationship was so bizarre and entertaining that it was almost impossible not to talk about. Muhammad moved to Ohio from Tanzania to be with Danielle when he was 26 and she was 41. And it didn't take long for both of them to realize that the other told a string of lies. Muhammad said he had a job when clearly he did not, and Danielle was flat broke even though she told Muhammad she wasn't. Danielle also forgot to tell Muhammad about her history of arrests. As it turns out, the 90 Day Fiancé star had a record after being accused of credit card theft and forgery. We cannot make this up. The wedding day should have been an indicator of where this relationship was headed because Muhammad refused to kiss his bride. There were problems in the bedroom too, and Danielle was not happy that Muhammad wasn't trying to have sex with her. And fans of the show finally found out why he would not sleep with his wife at the tell-all. Muhammad admitted that he was put off by Danielle's lack of hygiene and claimed she had an odor he couldn't get over. And when Danielle and Muhammad returned to TLC for 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, we learned why they put the question mark in the title of the show. There was absolutely no happy ending for these two. In fact, Muhammad ended up leaving Danielle and headed for Miami, but she was hot on his trail. Danielle ended up finding Muhammad in Miami, and she came prepared. She had a binder full of evidence she had collected against Muhammad while trying to investigate his whereabouts, and she promised to get him deported after he left her. Again, we can't make this up. Muhammad didn't get deported, and he lived in Texas for a few years before taking a new trucking job. Fast forward, he and Danielle have reportedly mended fences and are working on their friendship. It doesn't seem likely that they'll get back together though. Number 8. Mark and Nikki were introduced on season 3 of 90 Day Fiancé. Much to shock of viewers, at the time, he was 58 and she was 19. Viewers couldn't believe it when they learned that Mark had 4 adult children who were older than Nikki either. It was even more disturbing to learn all the things that Nikki had in common with Mark's ex-wife. Both women are from Cebu, Philippines, and he brought them both over to America on K-1 visas. Do with that info what you will. And when Nikki arrived in Baltimore, Maryland to be with Mark, he gave her a car and taught her how to drive. Now that would have been a sweet gesture if not for the fact that Mark purchased the same make and model car for his ex-wife as well. And 90 Day Fiancé viewers couldn't help but wonder if Mark was trying to replace his ex-wife with someone just like her. And on top of that, Mark wouldn't marry Nikki without a prenup, meaning that if she left him, she would be stuck with literally nothing. And to further complicate things, he also refused to have more children, and that was something that she actually wanted. After their season was over, Mark filed a lawsuit claiming producers told him 90 Day Fiance was a documentary and not dramatized. Now, there won't be any updates coming from TLC for this couple, but they are believed to still be together. Number 7. Now, where does one even begin with George Nava and Anfisa Arkipchenko? This 90 Day Fiance couple was doomed from the start. Now, George wanted a beautiful Russian bride, and that's exactly what he got with Anfisa. However, he had to make a lot of promises to get her to America, and then to get her to marry him. Too bad, he overpromised. She wanted designer clothes, shoes, and handbags, and he was living on a thrift store budget. And not only that, but Anfisa had a wild temper and would fly off the handle over the smallest of things. And it was clear that George was desperate to be with Anfisa, and she was willing to use that desperation to get exactly what she wanted. And as soon as he went to prison, Anfisa cut George off. She refused to take any of his phone calls and even blocked his number. And she never went to visit him at all. Now that George is out of prison and lost a significant amount of weight, he is doing way better. He's even referred to his prison stint as a, quote, blessing, because it showed him who Anfisa was, and now the pair are estranged and working towards a divorce. Number 6. Nicole and Assan are another of the 90 Day Fiance's cringiest couples, who have been around for quite some time. Now, they made their debut on season 4 of 90 Day Fiancé, and then returned for season 3 and 4 of Happily Ever After. Even though the pair never married and Hassan's chances of getting to the US seem very slim. And many rumors have surrounded Nicole and Assan, including one that won't seem to go away. He has been accused time and time again of having a wife and kids in Morocco. Part of the reason that Nicole and Assan are so cringy is due to her taking her daughter May to Morocco and then having her call Assan dad. And another reason that 90 Day Fiancé fans aren't really a fan of this couple is Assan made it very clear during their debut season that he was not all that attracted to Nicole. Now, when they first met, he was surprised at how big she was. And then later in a confessional, he revealed that he was only 55% attracted to her, sparking a whole slew of jokes and memes. And after spending 5 months in Morocco due to that deadly virus that shall remain nameless on this channel shutting down international travel, Nicole and Assan spent more time together than ever earlier this year. And don't be surprised if you see the pair back on 90 Day Fiancé or one of the spin-offs. After all, Nicole is already teasing their return. Number 5. Jonathan Riviera and Fernanda Flores made a really good-looking couple on the surface. But as we learn more about them, it was clear they were going nowhere fast. This 90 Day Fiancé couple met in a club in Mexico when she was only 17 and Jonathan was 30. And while there have been bigger age differences on the show, the cringe factor comes into play because she was still underage. It was only 3 months after they met when Jonathan popped the question, and by the time she was 19, the two were married and living together in America. But Jonathan's mother never approved this situation, and it turns out she might have been onto something. After a tense season where Fernanda complained that Jonathan had often worked long hours, then went out to socialize without her, leaving her at home, the pair had a contentious split. Fernanda wasn't a big fan of the small town life and longed to move to a big city so she could kickstart her modeling career. He was a successful real estate agent and didn't really want to start over again in a new area. Fernanda ended up leaving Jonathan to live and work in Chicago, and she claimed that Jonathan was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive to her. Fast forward, Jonathan has since moved on with another woman, and ironically, also moved to Chicago. Number 4. Tanya and Sinjin are proof that 90 days is not nearly enough time to decide if a couple should be married, or at least not in their case. They met in a bar in South Africa while he was bartending, and she was visiting another man. Now that should have been the first clue. And now that Sinjin has made his way to America, these two can't seem to see eye to eye on much of anything. And to top that off, Tanya insists that she wants to start a family right away, even though she admitted Sinjin isn't her soulmate. Now that's something Sinjin cannot seem to get over. Meanwhile, Tanya can't get over his heavy drinking and his need to keep his freedom. Sinjin is a free spirit who wants to travel, explore, and who is still busy growing up to start raising a family. And on season 5 of Happily Ever After, Tanya and Sinjin fought about everything she does not like about him. And mostly it's been about his heavy drinking and his inability to keep a job. And they have also butted heads over her need to start building a family and his revelation that he may not even want kids. And when they made their way back to South Africa to visit his family, Tanya put on quite a show for his family and friends, leading them to question whether they were a good match or if they got married way too soon. Now, the couple is rumored to be in a rocky situation, and it looks like divorce may be on the table. Number 3. Angela and Michael came in like a wrecking ball in season 3 of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. They returned to season 3 and then made their way to season 6 of 90 Day Fiance. They were also featured in season 5 of Happily Ever After. Now Angela met Michael on Facebook, and after some back and forths, she finally ended up visiting him in Nigeria, and the rest is history. And this couple ended up tying the knot in January of 2020. Most 90 Day Fiance fans tend to like Michael, and even think that he deserves a trip to America. And that's because Angela is a whole handful. I mean, she is a chain-smoking, loud-mouthed, much older woman that regularly accuses that man of cheating for ridiculous reasons. Her tagline should literally be, "I'm done," because she said that just about 1,000 times leading up to their wedding. She even blew up at Michael on the night before their wedding because he and his friends decided to visit a strip club with Angela and her best friend JoJo. Even though she was there, Angela lost her mind when Michael dared look at anybody else at a strip club. And time again, Angela has proven herself to be very insecure, jealous, and crass. So much so that the 90 Day Fiance fans have even petitioned to have her removed from the show. But it looks like she's here to stay because, quite honestly, Angela's over-the-top behavior does bring the ratings. Number 2. Lisa Ham and Usman Umar also won the ire of 90 Day Fiance fans when they debuted on season 4 of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. And they received multiple comparisons to Angela and Michael for a few reasons. First reason being that Lisa is also much older than Usman, and the other is because they're an American-Nigerian couple, even though he is from the other side of the country. Now, Lisa is also very insecure, has a jealous streak, and has often accused Usman over and over again of cheating on her. And she showed how controlling she could be when she insisted that Usman not use a model in one of his music videos for a song that was supposedly about her. And while Lisa and Usman put on a great show on screen, most of their drama went down off screen when Usman reportedly blocked Lisa while the two were still married. They fought non-stop as the season aired and even created one of the biggest scandals in 90 Day Fiance history when leaked footage from the tell-all showed Usman accusing Lisa of calling him the N-word during a recent fight. And that was enough to get them both removed from B90 Strikes Back, a new 90 Day Fiance spinoff that showcased the cast watching their season back and then responding to criticism from the Pillow Talk cast and tweets from the audience. And there was plenty of drama after that as the two continued to bicker and fight. Things even got so bad that Lisa was accused of stealing thousands of dollars from Usman when she received a cameo check for his work and told fans she was keeping it. Now, it's not known if Lisa ended up giving Usman back his money or if that's still in limbo. Number 1. Devin and Jihoon Lee had a lot of potential in the 90 Day Fiance world. When they first hit our screen in season 1 of The Other Way, they quickly gained popularity. After all, Devin is very pretty and makes for an excellent reality TV star, and Jihoon is just hilarious. Their antics during season 1 made Devin and Jihoon one of the most popular couples, but things really started to unravel around the time season 2 began. At this point, you really can't convince us Devin went back to South Korea that second time to end things with Jihoon. After all, she brought her mom Alicia, who went out of her way to stoke every possible situation, causing even more drama than there already was. Now, Jihoon was constantly blamed for his failings in their relationship, not earning enough money, to even picking the wrong apartment, even though Devin picked it. And during a trip to the park, Devin's daughter Drusilla ran off and Jihoon was screamed at for that too. And in season 2, we saw more tears from both Devin and Jihoon than ever, so it was pretty clear that the end was near. Then, right before the show stopped for a mid-season break, 90 Day Fiance fans learned that Devin and Jihoon ended their relationship, and she had already moved on with another man. As Devin flaunted her new man, holding her son, and made claims that Jihoon wanted nothing to do with their toddler, 90 Day Fiance fans began to turn on her. She was no longer the darling of the TLC brand with a funny husband and 2 small children. Now, she was a troublemaker that hops from man to man, drawing criticism for dragging her children along behind her. Now, this wraps up our list for 90 Day Fiance's cringiest couples. And while there's no doubt that the 90 Day franchise has had its fair share of cute couples and sweet moments, it might be some of the toxic, most awkward, and just plain mismatched couples that keep some viewers coming back for more. Now, it's your turn. Did we miss a cringy couple that needed to hit this list? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you care. And we'll see you all at the next one.